Welcome back. Now, Nigerian Senate President Bukola Saraki is in trouble. If that's the right expression to use. But fact is that the Code of Conduct Tribunal has actually issued a bench warrant for his arrest and that he must appear before the Code of Conduct Tribunal to face charges of falsifying his assets while he was governor of Kwara State and also as a senator. Of course, he's been accused of false declaration of assets and, of course, anticipatory declaration. Now, Bukola Saraki was supposed to appear before the Code of Conduct Tribunal last week. He did not. His lawyers argued for him before that tribunal. His lawyer actually pleaded before the chairman of the tribunal, saying he was going to ensure that the Senate president appeared the following week. But then the Code of Conduct Tribunal chairman issued that bench warrant for his arrest. And as you're aware, Bukola Saraki has actually gone, even before the Code of Conduct Tribunal issued that bench warrant for his arrest, he had actually gone to a federal high court to get an injunction stopping the Code of Conduct Tribunal now from even sitting to investigate him. And he also went back to that federal high court on Friday, that was last Friday now, where he actually got the judge of that federal high court now issued another order asking the Code of Conduct Tribunal to suspend whatever it is doing. As a matter of fact, asking the Code of Conduct Tribunal chairman to appear before him and all the parties in the case, as well as the Code of Conduct Bureau, to all appear before him next week. We'll wait and see what happens. But let Libero Soshoma just help us make sense of this. Or Libero Soshoma, you're a lawyer. Help us to make sense of this. The Code of Conduct Tribunal,
the Federal High Court,
and then the Federal High Court. We've had people come out, some lawyers have said, look, both institutions are of equal jurisdiction. We do not. What exactly is the situation of things under the law?
Basically, under the law, if a court issues a charge and you have any defense to that charge, what you should do is to go before that court
and defend yourself.
And defend yourself. Even if you have any misgiving before that court, you still go to the court. Misgiving in the sense that you feel the court will be biased against you. You still need to go before that court to say, this court, I have every reasonable likelihood, or every belief that there's every likelihood that you will be biased in this matter. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot now go to another court to ask that court to restrain the former court from going ahead, from performing its constitutional duties. Because what basically is happening here, we are missing up this Code of Conduct Tribunal with the EFCC investigation and the ICPC or the Nigerian police investigation. I believe Saraki's legal team also misconstrued that fact, because you hear people rush to court to tie the hands of EFCC, asking for perpetual injunction,
which we see all the
asking
time.
for all kinds of restraining order to restrain EFCC or the Nigerian police or the ICPC from prosecuting or from arresting them. But in this case, you have a Code of Conduct Tribunal established by the Constitution. You also have the Federal High Court established by the Constitution of a coordinate jurisdiction. In as far as asset declaration is concerned also, it is the Federal High Court does not even have jurisdiction to hear this matter. That is why a Code of Conduct Tribunal was established
in the first place.
If you investigate and you discover that based on the forms that were submitted before you, that there are issues to be answered, that there is need for you to go before the Code of Conduct Tribunal, for the Code of Conduct Tribunal to say, look, that there is a charge, a breach here. And so what basically had happened was, after investigation, the Attorney General, the Office of the Attorney General did discover that Saraki, according to the charge, the allegations until proven that Saraki had breached the Code of Conduct. And so for that he should be dragged before the Code of Conduct Tribunal. Saraki now approached the Federal High Court to say, grant me an order restraining the Code of Conduct Tribunal because the charge was not validly issued because there is no subsisting attorney general.
And
for me,
yeah, because I was just going to ask you that, because
for me, that is a defense.
That there's no existing attorney general and that the office of the solicitor general cannot institute this kind of action.
That is a defense that Saraki had to the action. And that defense ought to be before the Code of Conduct Tribunal and not at the High Court, Federal High Court. Because also, mind you, the Federal High Court does not have appellate jurisdiction over the Code of Conduct Tribunal. And also, even if the Federal High Court...
When you say appellate jurisdiction, simply meaning, look, you cannot appeal the decision of the
Code of Conduct to the Federal High Court.
Federal High Court, yeah.
Even if the Federal High Court had appellate jurisdiction over the Code of Conduct Tribunal, you would wait for a decision to be reached at the Code of Conduct Tribunal before you say you are appealing that decision. Now, a decision had not even been reached, a sitting had not even taken place, and then you rush to another judge to seek an order restraining this other judge from hearing. It's like you have a matter at the High Court, you are being charged for an offense in the High Court, and then you rush to the Federal High Court to say the Federal High Court should restrain the High Court. I've never seen...
a state High Court.
Exactly. I have never seen that kind of practice before. And so I was surprised. And the Code of Conduct Tribunal also knew that the Federal High Court does not have appellate jurisdiction over it. And that was why they went ahead to say, look, irrespective of what has transpired, we'll go ahead with our sitting and let's see how the Senate President will not appear. And since he didn't appear, they did what was right to issue a bench warrant compelling his appearance. And the Senate President also knew that there was need for him to appear before the tribunal, which was why he had to send his lawyer, who got there late and pleaded with the judge to say, okay, don't worry, I will produce him. If you knew that you will produce him before the tribunal, why rush to the Federal High Court in the first place? So that is the part I really don't understand, because the law is very clear here that in as far as matters that had to do with Code of Conduct is concerned for public office holders, it is the Code of Conduct Tribunal that has jurisdiction. And Saraki is not challenging the jurisdiction, stricto sensu, of the court. He's challenging the legality of the suits. That since it was not instituted by an attorney general, that the suit is not valid. And so to that
best
extent,
place for him to do that is before that particular tribunal.
And to that extent, the tribunal cannot, does not have jurisdiction to hear it. It is before the tribunal that you address those issues, and not at the Federal High Court. When you get to the tribunal, in the case of Tinubu was dragged before the Code of Conduct Tribunal. Tinubu did not rush to the Court of Appeal or to the Federal High Court to ask for an order restraining the tribunal. He went to the tribunal with his team of lawyers, and at the end of the day, he was discharged and acquitted. And also, I have heard an argument on the part of Saraki that this account was 2003.
Yes, exactly. I was going to ask you that most of these things that he's alleged to have committed actually happened back, way back, 2003, quite a long time ago. And really, why didn't the Code of Conduct Tribunal actually bring all of, Code of Conduct Bureau, I should say, bring all of this up? Why wait until now?
If in criminal matters there are no statute of limitation to criminal or to offenses, even if the offense was committed 20 years ago, 30 years ago, in America there are cases that are investigated for 15 years. All you want to do is to ensure that you garner enough facts and evidence to grant conviction. If you do it in a hurry and at the end of the day you are not able to grant conviction, it is the state that will lose. It is better for you to do it properly. And so when Tinubu left office in 2007, Tinubu was charged before the Code of Conduct Tribunal in 2011. That's about 4 years later.
That's quite true.
And so why didn't his team of lawyers say, look, these were accounts that he had, because he was even bordered on a declaration he made in 2003. And so why didn't the team of lawyers say, oh, these are offenses that were committed, 11 years ago? For me, by saying that this was a matter that happened in 2003, it actually means that you have admitted that there was an offense, but the only defense now is that it was committed 13 years ago. even if it was committed 13 years ago, for the fact that somebody in Code of Conduct Tribunal then did not bother to look at it, and another person now is saying, look, an offense has been established here, it does not rob the court of jurisdiction. For me also, it is not a defense in law. That is why we say for criminal matters, even if it was committed 100 years ago, if you remember not too long ago, said there were people who are being tried for crimes committed during the Second World War.
That's quite true.
And so, why wouldn't they come out to say, oh, these are offenses that were committed more than 70 years ago, and so why charge me now? Because there is no statute of limitation for criminal matters, because the state also know that if you limit criminal matters, then the man can commit an offense and go into hiding, only for him to surface years later, by which time the hand of the state would have been tied to prosecute the matter. So all these are no defense, but let him still go before the tribunal, no matter the argument. It is before the Code of Conduct Tribunal that you will present the argument, and not before any other courts. Of
course, whether we like it or not, a lot of political meanings will be read into this.
Yes, because for me, basically, they say if you live in glass house, you don't throw stones. He who comes to equity must come with clean hands. If you know, because some persons have said that it was because he went against the party direction, it's because he's fighting for the independence of the legislature and all of that. If you know that you have skeletons in the cupboard, that there are allegations that your party can use against you. You know, why draw out a sword against your party? He drew the first blood. And so he did that.
We're not even sure that the party is
responsible for this. And most especially with the
because whether we like it or not, we're seeing some kind of change in the anti-corruption fight.
Yes.
That suddenly, because you have a different president whose posture is very straightforward as far as corruption
everybody's waking up.
Everybody's waking up.
And so you cannot blame for the fact that, yes, your party is in power and you are being prosecuted. That is what we want to hear. That's what we want to see, irrespective of who is involved. And for me, if Saraki can be prosecuted, it means any other person can be prosecuted.
And of course, a lot of people have been saying, look, they would only believe Buhari's anti-corruption if he began prosecuting members of his own political party.
And he has started with them now. We're saying, no, it is his political party that are witch hunting them. When it was PDP, you said, oh, APC is witch hunting us. And now you're saying it's because I went against the party directive. If you actually knew you had skeleton in the cupboard, why didn't you, maintain your position and obey party rules? And moreover, we have been hearing of, arrest and invitation by EFCC and all of that. The same Saraki is investigating EFCC. I use the word advisedly.
And that is
Saraki,
true.
Because Dino Melaye is the one heading that committee investigating EFCC. Dino Melaye escorted Saraki's wife to EFCC when she was invited for questioning. Dino Melaye escorted Saraki to America when he went to attend the parliamentary meetings in America. And so there's
every likelihood that if and when Saraki appeared before the Code of Conduct Tribunal,
Dino Melaye will be there with him. And so when EFCC is investigating Saraki's wife, Dino Melaye is investigating EFCC. Yes. By implication, you can say EFCC, Saraki is the one investigating EFCC. And so all of this dog, permit me to use that word, approach was saying, it is for the betterment of our polity. Let us, even if this is what it will take for us to clean the urgent table, to use some persons as example to show that truly this government is sincere in fighting corruption, so be it. If you have a defense, like we told Alamesia years ago, don't tell me I am being persecuted because I didn't support third term.
Go and defend yourself.
Go and defend yourself. Are your hands clean? And so that's the basic question Nigerians are asking. It's not PDP, so that you won't say it's only PDP members that are being pursued. Now it is APC. Go and defend yourself. You saw also when Kwankwaso was invited, he went to the Federal High Court in Kano to get an injunction. The same thing with Kingsley Kuku. I also think that this government, there is need for a government to set up a high-powered panel to begin to investigate some of these our judges. Because if we truly want to fight corruption, there's need for us also to beam searchlight on some of these judges, because even the judge at the Federal High Court that did call for, that asked the Federal High Court, the Code of Conduct, to show cause why they should not be restrained. The judge knew fully well that he had no jurisdiction, he had no power to do that. Now, and also granting that order ex parte. What was the urgency in the matter? Was Saraki going to be jailed at the Code of Conduct Tribunal the very next day? For you to grant an order ex parte restraining an institution from carrying out the constitutional responsibility and now asking them to come show cause. It's like calling a judge to come show cause to you why you should prosecute a matter. So some of these judges, there's need, like the Kayode Esho panel that was set up by, Obasanjo's administration now, there's need for us to look into the activities of these judges if we truly want to fight corruption.
DeRosa Sharma, thank you very much for coming on the program, and thank you very much for your wonderful contributions.
My pleasure.
Well, that's it on the program. If you want to watch it again, it's simple. All you just need to do is go to our website, tv360nigeria.com. You'll find the program and lots more there. You can also watch us actually on YouTube by subscribing to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/TV360 TV360 Nigeria, or follow us on Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria, or simply like us on Facebook. The address is facebook.com/TV360 online. You can also follow us on Twitter. Our handle is at TV360 online. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again next week.